for your patience with us this evening as we had a little bit of business to attend to upstairs and ran over just a little bit. We've got a pretty good evening in store for all of you. We've got a lot of opportunities for acknowledgements of our community in addition to our normal board business. So we want to thank everybody who's joining us here tonight. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to Chief Perkins Cohen, who's filling in for Dr. Santelises this evening. So thank you. I'll now read a roll call of the board to identify who's present. Please identify yourself first before speaking for the record, and I'll go through a roll call for each vote this evening for board matters. Vice Chair Parker.
Vice Chair Parker present.
Thank you. Commissioner Ames Messenger.
Ames Messenger present.
Thank you. Commissioner Chicas Guzman.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Coy. Absent this evening. Commissioner Esposito.
Commissioner Esposito present.
Thank you. Commissioner Kenyatta Bay is absent this evening. Commissioner Mohammed. He will be joining us shortly. Commissioner Redding Lollinger.
Commissioner Redding Lounge present.
Thank you. Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Scott Woodruff present.
Thank you. And Commissioner Simmons.
Commissioner Simmons present.
Thank you. Commissioner Slater Harrington is absent this evening, and I am present. Is there a motion to reopen tonight's meeting?
So
Motion.
Parker.
I'll take Parker and then Esposito as a second. All in favor, Vice Chair Parker?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Ames Messenger?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Chicas Guzman?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Esposito?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Redding Lollinger?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Scott Woodruff?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Simmons?
Yes.
And I'm in favor. This motion passes. I'd like to invite all of our audience to join us for the JROTC from Carver Vocational Technical High School to lead us through our opening exercises this evening.
Arms. Colors. Pose. Ready. Cut.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. The folks from Carver Technical High School. Is there a motion to approve the prior open session minutes?
So moved Esposito.
I'll take Commissioner Esposito and Commissioner Simmons for a second. Thank you. All in favor, Vice Chair Parker?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Ames Messenger.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Chicas Guzman.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Kenyatta Bay. I'm sorry, he's absent this evening. Commissioner Mohammed, not here yet. Commissioner Redding Lollinger.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons.
Yes.
Thank you, and I'm also in favor. This motion passes. Is there a motion to approve the closed session summaries?
So moved Esposito.
Thank you, Commissioner Esposito. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott Woodruff. Thank you so much. All in favor, Vice Chair Parker?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Ames Messenger.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Chicas Guzman.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Redding Hollinger.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons.
Yes.
And I'm in favor. This motion passes. For my board chair comments this evening, I'm going to split it up in a couple of different ways with my board colleagues. We have a number of things that we want to share with our community. I'm going to begin by turning it over to the vice chair for an update on our community search for the CEO. Yep, there should be a slide. So Tanisha or the board office team, if we could project our slide this evening.
Okay, there it goes. I'm just gonna get started. All right, I see it, but it's not projecting. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So first of all, on behalf of the board, we would like to thank all of you for participating in the first round of community outreach and listening sessions around the CEO search. So last month, actually, we hosted 5 in-person events. The mayor kicked us off and hosted one of his town halls. Their telephone town halls, they're very interesting. If you ever get invited to one, please join. And the one that the mayor did, we had over 3,000 participants. Is similar to a radio show. So we got a lot of good feedback and comments around not just the CEO process, but just schools in general. And that's really what we wanted to hear. Myself and Chair Sally participated in some local media. The search got picked up in national news, and we were in newsprint and radio during the week that we were doing our community outreach. Just to name some of the affiliates that picked up some of the news, we were locally featured on CBS and ABC. On the radio, we were on WYPR, the Baltimore Sun ran stories, the Banner, and more. We ensured that we had broad participation and that families all over the city had opportunity to engage with us. We had multilingual options and interpretation. And I just want to shout out the students over at Patterson Park. We had students who were doing interpretation, and that was amazing. We just want to lift up the students who participated in that. We also just want to lift up, hopefully students are listening. I just want to thank the students who came out. I feel like students were very engaged in this process. And overall, we want our student base to be one of our major stakeholders in this process. We also did a community survey. Anybody here did the survey? Yay. Miss Wendy in the front. Wait a minute. You had your hand up too? All right, there we go. So we did a community survey. We had more than 2,000 responses, and oh, I'm sorry. I want to make sure I had that correct. We had over 2,000 responses to the student survey. So we had a separate survey for students and families. And then we had nearly 500 responses to the community survey. We are working with Alma Advisory Group, and we also conducted more intimate focus groups and interviews with stakeholders and community leaders. So we heard from a diverse number of groups, voices, stakeholders, and we are going to do a more. Yes. So next board meeting, we are planning to do a more in-depth breakdown on all of the feedback and where we're going next. And just lastly, and most importantly, we want to thank you all for showing up, sharing your voices, and being engaged as we choose our next CEO. Thank you.
Yep, and I'll add just one additional note on top of that. So what we'll bring next week will be, in addition to the analysis from the community engagement, I'm so sorry, at our next board meeting, which will be October 21st, we'll also be talking a little bit more about brass tacks of that work, which is building that job profile for our next CEO. So we anticipate by the end of October that will be live. It will be available for the community to view as well as to start to accept applications. So we'll have an update for you with more details on that in general. But we have our CEO search website that has more details and more information on what's transpired to date. So thank you, Vice Chair Parker, for that information. Next, I'd like to turn it over to our student commissioner, Commissioner Chicas Guzman, to lead us through a couple of updates on the student media team and the work that they've been leading and getting some visibility out in the community.
Hello, everyone. So last Saturday, the district student media team, district student media team's short film City Forever premiered during the 2025 New/Next Film Festival at the Charles Theater. Woo! Woo, woo! The student media team produced this documentary film during the 24/25 school year, and City Forever tells the story of the last days of Baltimore City College at the Castle on the Hill and the anticipation leading up to the temporary relocation to the University of Baltimore while the castle undergoes its first extensive renovation in 100 years. The student media team pitched the story, wrote the interview questions, conducted the interviews, shot 73% of the overall film, and collaborated on story, direction, structure, and an editing plan. This accomplishment could have not happened without the creative direction of our students, the district, the video production team, and funding from the Gary I. Sutzberg Children's Cable Education Fund, governed by the board and City of Baltimore. I want to take the time to acknowledge the members of the district student media team. The members are Haley Garcia, Baltimore City College, Carlos Lopez, Baltimore Polytech Institute, Baron Foreman, Baltimore School for the Arts, Kayla Hammonds, Baltimore School for the Arts, Serenity Hinton, Baltimore School for the Arts, Emmanuel Robinson, Carver Vocational Technical High School, Dash Chase, North Bend Elementary / Middle School. It is now my pleasure to invite the district student media team, their families, and our city school staff to join me up front to talk more about the documentary. Woo! Woo!
Good evening, Commissioners. Good evening, Chief Perkins Cohen. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. I'll let my colleagues introduce themselves as well. I'm Mike Lentz. I work in the Office of Communications.
I'm Kayla Hammonds.
I'm Curad Marcano. I also work in communications with Mike.
What schools do you both go to? Can you tell us that?
Oh, I am a senior at the Baltimore School for the Arts.
Unfortunately, Kayla was the only one who could join us this evening. When we think about the student media team, it boils down to one word, which is collaboration. You heard our student commissioner tell all of the different schools across our city that our students came from to represent the team. And although we focused our story just on the City College move, it was a collaborative process throughout. Each of the students had an opportunity and pitched 2 story ideas each for us to cover. And we did start 3 projects and then realized that was a little ambitious and kind of focused our attentions on just the one, which premiered at the New Next Film Festival just this past weekend. So I'll let Kayla say a little bit about what that experience was like.
So one of the things I liked most about the student media team was being able to collaborate with people who I don't usually interact with. Like, I didn't know any of the people before except for the ones who went to the Baltimore School for the Arts. And now I consider myself an honorary City Knight just because of all the in-depth info I know about it. And I understand what it's like to be a poly student just through having conversations with Carlos. And I love connecting with everybody there.
That's definitely what's special about this team is that it encompasses students from different schools, and the way that they get to share their experiences and develop empathy for each other is really inspiring. And that's really our whole goal, is for them to then share that same experience with our greater community. And so we really appreciate the opportunity.
We were very proud of the work that the students did in its own, but just a little bit about the New Next Film Festivals. Over 150 films were shown across the weekend at the Charles Theater. Filmmakers from Baltimore, from Maryland, from the United States, and also an international presence. It was just it's an amazing time. I presented a film there last year as well, and I knew that experience for the students would really enhance the product, because we can be proud of it and our district can be proud of it, but to have it validated on that grand stage, even within our city, is just something that, yeah, I don't really even have the words to just describe what it felt like to be up there with them and to see them handle a Q&A moderated by Tom Hall of WYPR, and just to have a sold out screening for their film was just really special. So.
Want to just provide my note of thanks for leading the work, the opportunity for you guys to, especially students, right? The opportunity to really engage in that, to get hands-on skills, to tell stories, right? So the stories we know is what moves people. It causes us to act. It causes us to lead with empathy and heart. And so this is a tremendous opportunity. I do not know if any of my board colleagues went, because it was in my inbox, but I had a full weekend, but I cannot wait to dive into this. So I want to thank all of you guys for bringing this, for your leadership, and for the participation. So tremendous.
Yeah, I just also want to thank the student media team. I feel like the caliber of this program and the caliber of the products that the students are creating with the leadership and the really student-focused leadership that we've had for a long time to make sure we're lifting up student voice is really unique to Baltimore. And I think the caliber of the films we're producing is so high level and really gives a chance for our students to your point, interact with other students and get a sense of the broader district in a way that we just didn't have before. So I'm very grateful for this this work and very proud of it.
I would say, I know Commissioner Kenyatta Bay would want to make sure that he gave his congratulations, but has back to school night tonight in his own building. But it just is to be able to root for you, the professional quality, and I think just the creativity of the district of using funds that are earmarked to be able to continue to keep up with the changing media and communication needs of what a district looks like, and that it's not the same thing as when the fund was kind of in its infancy. So thank the district for the leadership and just the creativity that means to be able to tell stories from student perspectives the way that we know in Baltimore they deserve to be told, and that is powerful and asset based. And I always appreciate getting to meet with your students and your staff. So thank you. And Kenyatta Bay sends his affirmation and joy.
Join me in a round of applause and thanking everybody for their hard work.
I was gonna say, before you leave, can you tell us about the streaming? Because I know it's gonna stream.
It will be on YouTube next week. So,
Right.
yes, but we also wanted to extend our thanks to the commissioners and for the funds, of course, but also just the support throughout the process.
I would like to personally say thank you to the board and to Dr. Sanalisis, even though she's not here, for believing in us and funding our creativity and allowing us to have the opportunity to even be in the New Next Film Festival and standing by our work with our Q&A.
Tremendous. Thank you.
You're gonna feel so special that you thanked her and you actually pronounced her name correctly, which like 90% of adults can't do. So
Thank you guys again. Congratulations. And thank you so much, Commissioner Chicas Guzman. I'd now like to turn it over to Commissioner Esposito on another note to honor paraprofessional school-related personnel week.
Paraprofessional and school-related personnel, PSRP Appreciation Week, is a time to recognize the dedicated individuals who play a critical role in the success of our students and schools. You go above and beyond to support our students inside and outside the classroom, keep our schools clean, drive our students to and from their school campus safely, make sure our school communities are informed about district policies or community engagement opportunities, and much more. On behalf of the board, I want to extend our deepest gratitude to every PSRP member for your care, hard work, commitment to Baltimore City Public Schools. Your contributions are often behind the scenes, but your impact is felt throughout the district. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Esposito. And now I'd like to turn it over to both Commissioners Chicas Guzman and Commissioners Ames Messenger for Hispanic Heritage Month.
Hi, everyone. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. Woo! Hispanic Heritage Month is a time to celebrate and honor the cultures, histories, and continuous contributions and excellence of our Hispanic and Latino communities across our city and our nation. I'd like to recognize and uplift our teachers and staff who share their heritage in classrooms with culture and pride, as well as my student peers whose leadership and traditions remind us of the power within diversity and unity. On behalf of students, thank you to our educators and other students who consistently make Baltimore City Public Schools a safe space to celebrate our identities and cultures. Feliz mes de Herencia Hispana.
As we'll get used to saying, she's already said it all, so we should all be quiet. But in the thing, I think adding on gratitude to families and students who continue to show up as their whole selves and to be full of dynamic life. And I've really appreciated getting to see schools also create spaces for communities to gather, whether that's through food and through art and through culture and joy, and to be able to bring the whole community into that celebration together. So thanks for schools and families for leading that work. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month, everyone.
Oh, thank you so much. I will now get the honor of extending our thanks on behalf of the board for the generous donations of our philanthropic community, whether small or large. These donations help to extend the reach of our ability to serve our students, our families here in Baltimore City. So first, we'd like to acknowledge a non-monetary donation from an anonymous donor in the amount of $15,400 to Digital Harbor High School for a piano donation to assist the music department. Second, the board would like to approve a monetary donation from the Schuster Foundation in the amount of $11,758 for Harlan Park Elementary Middle School, and $10,000 to support student activities, resources, supplies, and student-centered events, and an additional $1,700 for purchase of student uniforms from Herman's Discount Store. Next, the board approves a non-monetary donation from an anonymous donor in the amount of $6,200 to the district office for $25 Safeway gift card donations to combat food insecurity here in Baltimore City. Next, the board approves a non-monetary donation from an anonymous donor in the amount of $5,000 to the district office community engagement for school supplies collected at the Oriole Park at the Stuff a Bus event. Additionally, the board approves a monetary donation from the Foundation Baptist Church in the amount of $5,600 to the National Academy Foundation School. The board also approves a non-monetary donation from an anonymous donor in the amount of $13,200 to the district office community engagement for 499 Orioles tickets for high schoolers to attend HBCU night at Camden Yards. Next, the board approves a non-monetary donation from an anonymous donor in the amount of $64,800 to the district office community engagement for 5 pallets of fruit snacks. The board approves a non-monetary donation from an anonymous donor in the amount of $9,999 to the district office engagement for 2 pallets of food bars. And that concludes our donations. We really appreciate the support from all of our community. I'll now turn it over to Chief Allison Perkins for CEO and Chief of Staff comments this evening.
Thanks, Chair Sally. So first I want to turn it over to Chief Emily Nielsen to read the PAP.
Thank you, Chief Perkins Cohen. Good evening, commissioners. If you are being acknowledged on tonight's PEP and are present today, if you could stand up when I read your name so we can acknowledge you. From the Office of the Chief Academic Officer, an appointment recommended that Crystal Adams, currently Supervisor Public Placement at Baltimore County Public Schools, be appointed Educational Specialist 2, Special Education Supports, effective October 18th, 2025. Recommended that Graythier Salisbury, currently Supervisor Home and Hospital at Baltimore County Public Schools, be appointed Educational Specialist 2, IEP Implementation, effective October 18th, 2025. And an acting appointment. Recommended that Christopher Franklin Jr., currently Coordinator Mathematics, be appointed Acting Director Mathematics, effective October 18th, 2025 to December 9th, 2025. From the Office of the Chief Operating Officer, an interim appointment, Catherine Harris Toller, currently Special Assistant in the Office of the COO, be appointed Interim Director, Community and Public Relations in the Office of the COO, effective September 19th, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. Congratulations to everyone on tonight's PEP agenda.
Is there a motion to approve the PEP and quasi judicial matters?
So moved, Esposito.
Thank you, Commissioner Esposito. Is there a second?
Ames Messenger second.
Thank you. All in favor, Vice Chair Parker?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Ames Messenger.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Mohammed.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Redding Lollinger.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons.
Yes.
And I'm in favor. This motion passes. Now I'll turn it back over to Chief Perkins Cohen to take us through our next portion.
Great. Thank you, Board Chair. So first, I get the great opportunity to begin by celebrating a remarkable achievement by the leadership and staff and students at Baltimore Polytechnic Institute. Last week, the Maryland State Department of Education announced that Poly has been named as a Maryland Blue Ribbon School. The state chooses these award-winning schools based on how students perform on national and state assessments, as well as their success in narrowing performance disparities between student groups. In the past few years, I think it's important to note some of the achievements at Poly. So in the past few years, in the past 3 years, the number of students taking AP exams at Poly has increased by 11.6%, and the number of exams taken was increased by 22%. At the same time, the number of qualifying scores, and typically when you increase access to AP tests like Poly's doing, and all of our schools are doing, then your scores go down because you've expanded the number of students taking exams. But that's not what's happening in the district, and it's not what's happening at Poly. So while we increase the number of students taking exams, the qualifying score is increased by 21 percentage points, so that 75% of Poly students are earning a qualifying score on those tests. Also notable, Poly is performing above the equity index. So Dennis Jutras, who leads this office, also really hews closely to making sure that we are doing this in a way that's expanding options and access for all of our students. And so we measure schools based on whether the representation in AP courses is representative, is proportional to the enrollment of students of color in that school. And Poly is in that equity index range. Also of note, Poly was also in part of the national pilot school. It was a national pilot school for the AP African American Studies class. So they've been a leader in this area. So with that, it is now my great pleasure to introduce Principal Mark Sawyer, Assistant Principal Matthew Adelberg, School Counselor Chair Twyna Sellers. Okay, please help me. Please help me. Twyna Sellers. I apologize, Twyna. And Student Council President Keezra Asan. Was that right? Okay, what are the odds? I mean, thank you. I'm good. I'm so glad to say a few words about this remarkable achievement. So could you all come up and talk about it?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Khizra Ihsan, president of the Student Government Association at the Baltimore Polytechnic Institute. I am proud to celebrate Poly's recognition as a Maryland Blue Ribbon School. I believe that for students, this recognition is so powerful because it confirms that the intensive college preparatory curriculum our school provides it is really among the best in the state. It shows that our hard work is not just preparing us for the future, but is also enhancing the reputation of Baltimore City for the rising generations. Many students may not realize this, but every step they take in their school life significantly affects not just their future, but also the reputation of their schools and even their entire region. And to me personally, this is really important because it reaffirms the value of earning a poly degree and also school, a Maryland high school diploma. This achievement will significantly impact our school environment by encouraging levels of school pride and opening up more opportunities. It will also help increase our community partnerships and resources that directly benefit our initiatives, while also setting a new higher standard for excellence that pushes our entire community towards continuous improvement and innovation. Thank you.
Thank you, Kizra. As previously stated, my name is Tawana Sellers. It's not pronounced the way that it's spelled, so. I am one of the school counselors at Baltimore Polytechnic Institute. I am also the department chair, and I've been at Poly for about 8 years now, working with these fine gentlemen, and very, very proud to be here. Nelson Mandela once said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Nowhere is that truth more visible than right here in Baltimore City at Baltimore Polytechnic Institute. Poly stands as a shining example of what's possible when dedication, resilience, and high expectations come together. Our school boasts an incredible 100% graduation rate, proving that when students are supported and challenged, they rise to meet every goal. Each year, Poly students earn over more than $40 million in scholarships, opening up doors to opportunities that will shape their futures and ultimately change our world. More than 80% of our seniors go on to attend a 4-year college or join the military, continuing the proud Poly tradition of excellence, service, and leadership. Behind those numbers are stories of perseverance, of students who push through challenges, and counselors who never give up on them. Each of our counselors serves over 400 students each, yet they still manage to ensure that every senior walks across the stage prepared for the next chapter. That's not just a commitment, that's the power of belief, teamwork, and community action. Baltimore Polytechnic Institute is proof that a successful high school team can transform lives and uplift a city. When we invest in education, we nurture potential. We don't just build graduates, we build change makers. And this is why these awards matter. Thank you.
Good evening. On behalf of our students, our staff, and our families, it is our distinct honor to be with you all tonight. We are profoundly grateful for your advocacy and your support that led to this remarkable recognition. Receiving this award is not just a moment of pride for our school, it is a testament to the tireless dedication of our students, our staff, our families, and to the excellence happening across city schools every single day. At Poly, our students arrive daily from every zip code in Baltimore City, bringing incredible talent, creativity, and a shared drive to excel. Our staff, teachers, counselors, mental health professionals, support staff, and administrators work relentlessly to create classrooms where every student feels seen, valued, and challenged. Last year, every active senior on our roster graduated. Together, Ms. Sellers just mentioned this, it's certainly worth mentioning again, our seniors earned over $48 million in scholarships. They had more than 1,700 college acceptances and completed over 48,000 community service hours. This award is a tremendous honor, but it's also a spotlight, a chance to shine light on the great work happening not just at Poly, but across our entire district. City schools are seeing real growth, outpacing the state in English and math, rising graduation rates, and more schools earning higher star ratings from the state. Tonight, we are grateful. We are grateful for our students who inspire us, our educators who embody excellence, and our communities that stand behind us. We are grateful to each one of you and to the MSDE for stepping in to ensure that our students across the state receive the recognition they deserve. Thank you for the honor to be here to speak with you tonight, for believing in our students, and for giving us the opportunity to share our story. We are humbled, proud, and even more committed to continuing the great work happening at Poly and across city schools. Thank you guys very much.
First, I want to echo Principal Sawyer's comments to thank State Superintendent Dr. Carrie Wright for reinstating the Maryland Blue Ribbon Schools program. They did that really quickly. As soon as it was identified that that program was going to discontinue at the federal level, they stepped in really quickly to continue it. And I think having ways to recognize the excellent work that many schools, and Poly is absolutely certainly one of them, are doing educationally is really important. And so I'm really grateful for her for continuing that and picking up the mantle very quickly on that. So with that, I invite you all to step forward to receive a certificate of achievement that we have for you to congratulate you on this great achievement.
I would have been waiting for the whole group. Sorry, I'm a rookie, so sometimes I make mistakes when I do this. So.
I'm going to kick it off and then open up the floor to our board colleagues. But I wanted just to take an opportunity just to acknowledge just the hard work that transpires in every single role in the building at Poly. So from the great leadership of our principal here at the school to our students to our cafeteria workers, it takes an entire village to produce the results that you guys talk about that is consistent, that honors the contributions of our young people and our families who come to Poly. Just want to thank and acknowledge that hard work and that appreciation on behalf of the board. But open it up to my board colleagues who may want to offer additional thoughts before you guys go away. covered it on behalf of the board. So thank you again. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, and then this week is also important week because we're celebrating the contributions of our PSRP staff, as mentioned earlier. So our paraprofessional and school-related personnel. This is PSRP Appreciation Week, and so just want to talk a little bit, and we've got the union president, or BTU president, Diamante Brown here to talk about how important these individuals are to our school communities. These are our secretaries, these are our paraeducators, and anybody who spent much time in a school knows that that these are the people who make schools function. They're the school, they keep the schools together. They're the glue behind schools that people often don't really acknowledge, but they're the ones who can tell you how the school really functions. They're the ones who can really tell you who you need to talk to on a given issue. And they're ones that often our parents rely on to get information. So they're really, really important. And so they dedicate themselves to ensuring that our young people have access to supports they need to thrive. They're an important part of our framework for student success. Some of our paras have been part of our very, very successful tutoring programming. So when we, during the pandemic, started doing, or after the pandemic started doing tutoring, we had a lot of different tutoring providers, and at least one of the most, if not the most successful, I think, of all the tutoring programs was the para tutoring program. So they know our students well, and they really support them to make sure they're successful, and they're very invested in them. So thanks to our PSRP staff. This is also, yeah. This is also National Principal Month, in which we celebrate our school leaders across the district. I am convinced that the principalship is the most challenging role in education, but it's also one of the most rewarding. Throughout my career, I've had the pleasure of working with a number of principals who are just exceptional. I feel like in city schools, we have so many exceptional principals, and we're grateful to have significant longevity in our principals. They've stayed, and they're exceptional. You can go into any number of our schools and you'll just see leaders who are committed to their school communities, who wrap around their school communities, who have vision, and have been there for years, and are the reason behind great gains that you've seen in our schools. A good principal will make any school better, and a great principal will create a learning environment in which every student can flourish. Thanks to all of our school leaders on behalf of the students and families of Baltimore. And that includes my remarks for the evening.
Thank you so much, Chief Perkins-Cohen. I'll now review the consent agenda. Board colleagues, please let me know if you have an item you'd like removed, and/or please state your question for staff. Gifts and donations, which include the items I read earlier this evening. Item 15.01, Convergent Technologies LLC, electronic parts, supplies, and installation contract increase.
I do have a question.
Vice Chair Parker, can you state your question?
Yes, I want to confirm the term of the contract.
Great. So we'll have staff join us after public comment for that. 15.02, Adelandia Builders Incorporated, window and door replacement at Moravia Park, upper building, school number 105B. 15.03, Janus Contractors Incorporated, window and door replacement at Matthew A. Henson Elementary School number 029. Hearing no additional questions, we'll now move to public comment. Just a reminder to the public, we'll have an opportunity this evening to hear general public comment, but we'll begin with recognized groups who have 5 minutes for public comment, followed by 3 minutes for each of our public comment this evening. I'd first like to welcome our colleagues from the Baltimore Teachers Union, who President Brown will be leading off. Welcome. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and happy PSRP Appreciation Week to all of our paraprofessionals and school-related personnel in Baltimore City Public Schools. I believe the best way to show appreciation is to make sure we know who our PSRP are, because the chapter is so expansive. I don't think people realize how many people work in city schools that are PSRP. So please humor me while I list all of the dozens of job titles in the chapter. 21st Century Associates, accountant, accountant twos, administrative assistant ones, administrative assistant twos, all the administrators, not in Pizzazza, we have administrators too. All of the aides, all of the analysts, analyst ones, analyst twos, application developers ones, twos, threes, architect, engineers, ones and twos, all of the assistants, assistant twos, all of the associates, the buyer, the certified athletic trainers, the coaches, the community engagement specialists, community school site specialists, community school specialists, contract monitors, customer support specialists ones and twos, customer support specialists threes, all of the data analysts, the data entry operator twos, the data specialists, database administrator three, department assistants, dietitian twos, educational facility planners, employee engagement specialists, employee engagement assistants, employee engagement associates, equity specialists, ESOL family engagement associates, facilities planners, family and community engagement specialists, family community engagement policy specialists, and all the other family engagement specialists, food service accountability assistant twos, functional analysis ones, twos, and threes, human capital specialists, human capital associates, human capital partners, JROTC instructors, interior designer ones, office assistants, ombudsman specialists, operational support specialists twos and threes, paraeducators, payroll functional systems analysts, procurement specialists, program evaluator twos, project coordinators, project managers, real estate agents, records technicians, recruitment associates, recruitment specialists, registrars, reporting analyst ones, secretaries, special education paraeducators, all of the specialists, all of the staff associates, bless you, all of the staff specialists, all of the student record support assistants, student transition ambassadors, system administrator twos and threes, systems analysts twos and threes, team support paraprofessional, time and attendance administrators, transportation assistants, video production assistants, video production specialists, and work order administrators. So if you didn't know all of the people that make this school district run, there they are. Happy PSRP Appreciation Week to all of you. Thank you.
I just want to offer a special thank you to President Brown and all the folks at BTU who do remind us of the important role that each and every one of our personnel play, especially our PSRPs. So thank you for your advocacy on behalf of those personnel who support our young people. Thank you. Next, we have a video from the Parent and Community Advisory Board from Shartae Anderson, who's the vice chair. So it'll be just a moment while we cue that up.
My name is Shartae Anderson. I'm the Vice Chair of the Parent Community Advisory Board, otherwise known as PCAB for Baltimore City Public Schools. PCAB was established by Maryland law to ensure that parents and community members have a voice in shaping the future of city schools. Our purpose is to advise the CEO and this board on how families and educators and community partners can collaborate to help our students succeed. On behalf of our members, I thank you for the opportunity to provide the following updates. In September, PCAB members engaged in the CEO search process. through the CEO search forums as well as a focus group. In those spaces, we lifted priorities that families and community members want to see reflected in the next CEO, qualities, experiences, and values that matter most to our city students and families. We emphasize the importance of a leader who strengthens special education services and ensures that students with disabilities receive the supports they need, advises student wholeness efforts, advances student wholeness efforts that center well-being and belonging, promotes transparency and clarity in school leadership and decision-making, demonstrates a commitment to listening and acting on family feedback, and champions college and career readiness for all students. We look forward to continuing to gather feedback from families to ensure that the next leader of city schools truly reflects the needs and lived experiences of Baltimore's children and families. To support this, our public input survey will help guide the decisions for our upcoming public meeting with Dr. Santelises, which will be on November 20th. We're inviting families to share their questions and comments surrounding several key areas, including school budgets, family and community engagement, policy, communications, teaching and learning, school safety and wholeness, as well as special education services. We look forward to sharing insights from that conversation at a future board meeting. On October 2nd, PCAB met privately with Dr. Santelises and district leadership to discuss the CEO search process, reflections on her tenure, and ways to strengthen a partnership between PCAB and city schools. As we continue refining our mission and vision to align with the needs of parents and families, this feedback and collaboration will be vital in shaping our work ahead. And finally, our next public meeting will take place on Thursday, October 16th at 6:30 and will be live streamed on YouTube. We invite all families and community members to join us in continuing this important conversation about the future of city schools. Thank you for your time and have a great day.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. I'll now turn it over to Mr. Juana Starrett to lead us through general public comment this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first public comment is from Katie Sutton. She is, I have an email to read, and her topic is family community engagement. She is with the Business Volunteers Maryland. She says Business Volunteers Maryland is proud to partner with Baltimore City Public Schools to support high-impact professional development and skilled volunteer events. Our School Partnership Accelerator program in particular has a proven impact on community school leaders and coordinators. Over the last 3 years, 29 community schools have received training and support to develop their ability to connect with, support, engage, and retain business and community partnerships through this program. Of last year's participants, 81% were brand new to their roles as school leaders or CSCs. Following the program, 100% reported that they were more comfortable engaging with corporate and business partners, with an average score moving from 3.3 to 4.6 out of 5 in just 4 months. One participant shared, quote, "I learned how to think like a business partner, how to present many truths about our school in a way that welcomes business leaders who seek partnership," end quote. The School Partnership Accelerator has also connected hundreds of volunteers to school leaders. During one event alone this spring, business volunteers mobilized 49 volunteers who completed 126 skilled volunteering hours with the participating schools, time valued at more than $27,000. More than those volunteers committed to continued involvement with Baltimore City Public Schools. Second is an email to be read from Lauren Andrews, and her topic is family engagement. Hi, my name is Lauren Andrews, and I'm an Educational Associate and Family Engagement Liaison at Graceland Park O'Donnell Heights Elementary Middle School. I am writing in support of the Office of Family Engagement. Not only does this team engage families across the district through their family and community events throughout the year and at Family University, but they also support educators like me who are working in schools and with families to support this work across the district. They provide educators with capacity building opportunities like FACE Fellowship, one-on-one training sessions for family engagement liaisons, family community council training for SFC chairs, and professional learning opportunities for any school-based staff interested in advancing their work with parents and families. Without the support of the team at the Office of Family Engagement, we would not be as prepared to support our families here at Graceland Park, O'Donnell Heights. This team is doing incredibly valuable work, and because of their support, we have been able to more purposefully engage members of our school community through our monthly parent power workshops, PTO meetings, and SFC council meetings. From my time working with and alongside them, I have noticed that the Office of Family Engagement team continues to go above and beyond to ensure that family engagement remains a core value and a shared responsibility throughout city schools. I am incredibly grateful for their partnership and the positive impact they continue to have on our school community and in the communities throughout Baltimore City. Thank you. The next is a video from Monique Bell, and the topic is Family University.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Monique Bell. I'm so grateful to be able to share my experiences on behalf of the Family University program. I am the mother of an incredible child with special needs. And being the mother of a special needs child means advocating in a lot, sometimes without even realizing it. And it's hard to know if I'm saying the right things. It's hard to know if I'm fighting the right battles, really, or if my concerns are being left on deaf ears. Before Family University, I often felt unheard and unsure of how to ensure that my son's needs were met or that his boundaries were respected. But this program really did change that. Family University has given me knowledge and the confidence to communicate with the school, communicate with his teachers, the principal, and the school board. And I don't feel like I'm doing it alone anymore. This program has been really, really, really life-changing for me and my family. And I hope that we have the opportunity to be life-changing for so many others. It means the world to me to be able to know how to help my son, and knowing that I'm helping others be able to stand up for what they need as well as their kids' needs. So thank you, Family University. I hope you guys have the opportunity to do this for many, many more cohorts.
The next is Robert Hines, and he is commenting in live, and the topic is vacant schools.
My name is Robert Hines. I'm a resident of Cherry Hill. I'm here tonight because of two schools in my area, actually close to me, right close to me. Carter G. Woodson and New Era Academy. Buildings in which you still own and have become the very definition of a safety hazard for our community. I live right across the street. They both have multiple unsecured access points and ongoing water leaks. There's garbage and dumping across the properties. Over 40 emergency services calls have been made, including reports of fire and trespassing. Children have been seen entering these buildings completely unsupervised. Inside, you can see needles, empty condom wrappers, and even a firearm magazine clip was found. Boxes of unused and nearly unused books are just sitting inside, rotting away. Books that could be in the hands of students who need them. Just last Friday, there was another fire. This was like the third one. Another moment where our community had to hold its breath and pray no one would be hurt and it wouldn't spread. As I said, I live right across the street. Not talking about the pieces of fire apparatus that has to be called out in order to handle small, what could be turned into a big blaze, but you have the whole street full of fire trucks that could be fighting fires to save someone's life. We cannot keep living like this. We need action now. Secure these buildings, clean up the sites, redistribute the books and resources inside, and commit to a plan that keeps our community safe. This is a crisis, hiding in plain sight. Have the power and the responsibility to make sure Cherry Hill families aren't living, next to danger every single day. Concern isn't enough anymore. We have to do something. On a personal note, I'm a longtime born and raised Cherry Hill resident. I went to Carter Woodson from kindergarten to 6th grade. I went to, when New Era Academy was Cherry Hill Junior High, from 7th to 9th. And then I went to Paul Laurence Dunbar Senior High School to finish my academia.
Mr. Hines, if you could wrap up.
Excuse me.
If you could wrap up your
I'm wrapping up now. Those buildings are not just buildings to me. They mean a lot. They stand for a lot in the community, and it's time for some action. Thank you.
I appreciate you lifting that up. So just as much as the community knows, I used to teach at New Era Academy myself in my 3rd year of teaching here in Baltimore City Public Schools. We make these really complicated and decisions to close buildings, and we do have an obligation to ensure that they are secure, that they do not, present these areas of hazards as you're lifting up. And so it does break my heart, because these do operate as markers for our community, so it doesn't fall on deaf ears. It's something that I'd like to work with our staff here at Baltimore City Public Schools to look at a little bit more in detail.
And Mr. Hines, if you could wait till after we're done, or after Ms. Crocker is going to speak after you, I think on the same topic. Angela Alvarez is here. She's raising her hand right there, and she's working on the plan to renovate the facilities, to identify somebody to renovate the facilities. So I just want to give her, after you both speak, have her get a chance to connect with you all outside, just to give you a little update on what's going on so that you're aware.
Next speaker is Jenna Crocker. Her topic is the vacant New Era Academy property, commenting live and in person.
So I'm Jenna Crocker, a Cherry Hill resident. I live on Seamont Avenue, right across from New Era Academy as well. Mr. Hines lives a couple houses down from me. So every day I look out the window and I see that school, and it's kind of sad because, it did represent so much for so many community members before I was a resident there. My children play at the park down there. It's not that great, but it's something for them to do rather than being in trouble. And their peers are going in these school buildings and talking about, what's in there, the conditions of it. It's very unsafe. It's very scary. We, the residents, have done our part. We've organized, we've spoken up, and we've shown that we care. And we feel like it's time for the city and the state to take responsibility to secure and maintain the site until a proposal is accepted that truly fits the needs of the community. Not a rush deal, not a disconnected development, but a plan that reflects our voices, our needs, and our vision for a safer, stronger Cherry Hill. The New Era Academy site can once again become a space of growth, education, and pride, but until that happens, we will continue to stand together, speak out, and hold every decision maker accountable. As Mayor Brandon Scott said, when communities speak up, it's not noise, it's guidance. Real progress starts by listening to the people living closest to the problem. And our children deserve better, and our community deserves better as well. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
I appreciate you coming and sharing. Thank you.
The next speaker is Devin Jackson, speaking about vendor-specific procurement data.
Good evening. So in Baltimore City, I wear two hats. I serve as CEO and president of Prosperous Tomorrow. I also serve as president as the Greater Baltimore Black Chamber of Commerce. And what we find is that there's no public information regarding vendor specific, like far as local versus non-local information. There is MBE information in regards to construction, but services performed in the schools, there isn't any reporting or budget reporting around that information. So what we would like to see that information published so that we can help aid in procurement contracts, but more importantly, the CTE pathways. So to be able to connect the students with local businesses, right? It'll be easier if we're already in the schools, serving the students so that we can connect them and serve them as apprenticeships, internships, so on and so forth. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the different CE pathways. So having that information be public will help us actually service the community better, hire the students, and also just really not just make it a minority thing, but just local from non-local, you're more active, more likely to hire. Studies show from your local community than if you are located outside of your local community. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the comments this evening. It's very helpful. And ones that we'll share with our procurement team. Thank you.
That concludes our public comment.
Thank you so much, Dawana. I appreciate that. We'll now return to the consent agenda to review the items that were pulled this evening. We pulled item number 15.01, which was Convergent Technologies. Not sure who from our team. Welcome. Let's do one more time.
There we go.
And I'll have you just, for the record, introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Chris Roberts, the Director of Building Maintenance and Inspections.
How you doing, Mr. Roberts?
Good.
Thank you. I asked the question because the board is looking at contracts that we are passing and to ensure that we're not passing long-term contracts as we have like a new CEO coming on. So my understanding is this is a contract that was approved in 2023,
24.
24.
Yes.
And the request today is to just increase the amount of the contract, but to keep the same term. So we're not going to make it any longer. And we are contractually bound for the 24 to 28 term.
Correct. Yes, ma'am. That's my understanding as well. We're only asking to increase the annual spending authority. The contract term will remain the same.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much. I think
Thank
that
you.
does it for us. Go ahead, Commissioner Mohammed. I'm sorry. I didn't see you.
Yeah, so I'll just take the opportunity. I think the question was answered, but I'll take the opportunity just to highlight the fact that even though this contract is not MBE certified, this vendor is not MBE certified, it did meet the MBE requirements, and the rest of the items that we are accepting today have all been MBE certified companies. So I just want to highlight that as an area of growth. And I want to send a huge shout out to the work being done by our MBE office, recognizing that we have a new leader and we see the impact of your work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Mohammed. Thank you so much. I appreciate you joining us this evening. Based on public comment, are there additional comments or questions or concerns by our board colleagues this evening? Hearing none, I'm sorry. Is there a motion to approve the remaining PEP agenda?
So moved, Esposito.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm so sorry, the remaining consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Was it Commissioner Esposito?
James
Oh,
Messenger second.
all right. Sorry about that, Commissioner. There's like lots going on here. Commissioner Esposito as our first, or second is Commissioner Ames Messenger. All in favor, Vice Chair Parker.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Ames Messenger.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Chicas Guzman.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Mohammed.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Redding Wallinger. Absent, Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons.
Yes.
Thank you, and I'm in favor. This motion passes. We'll now hear a presentation on compliance report policy KCA from the Chief Communications Office, enrollment, community engagement, and family engagement. It's a joint presentation, so I'd like to welcome Chief Hike Hubbard's team, Monica Sims, Vanessa Stone, and who else am I leaving off?
Chief Hike Hubbard.
Oh, Chief Hike Hubbard.
Good evening, everybody. Tina Hike Hubbard, Chief of Communications, Engagement, and Enrollment. Unfortunately, we are not there in person with you. Monique and I are at a conference with other City Schools colleagues, but we are here together to present. And Vanessa Stone, our wonderful Director of Family Engagement, is there in person. Monique Sims is the Director of Community Engagement. And we have our support team, just in case you guys have additional questions, with Holly Gonzalez, Manager of Community Schools, and Shar Hollingsworth, Manager of Family Engagement. So quickly, we're just going to go into compliance report KCA. I just want to make sure we acknowledge that we have one of the best family and community engagement policies in the country. It's been noted by lots of folks around the family and community engagement activities and whatnot. You can go to the next slide, please. As a reminder, this is board priority 4. This is the
Hold on a second, Tina, the
Oh, yeah.
slides aren't showing on the public. Maybe they're on the website, but on the
Oh,
public.
are they there now?
Yes. Yep.
Very good. Okay. Board priority 4, which makes sure we're engaging all of our stakeholders effectively. You go to the next slide, please. And the content of today's presentation is in 3 buckets. We have family engagement, which you will hear from Vanessa Stone. Community engagement, you will hear from Monique Sims. And then I'll quickly give you an overview of our Ombudsman's office, and then we'll take questions. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Vanessa Stone for family engagement.
All right. Thank you, Chief Hike Hubbard. First, I just want to thank the team, the Family and Community Engagement team, the whole office of OCEE. Go ahead, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Thank you. We could not do this work without this team. We could not do this work without our community school coordinators. We could not do this work without our liaisons, our paraeducators, our ILEDs, our school principals, our school leaders. So I just want to take a moment to thank those folks. And we really appreciate the partnership that you share with us. Our work is grounded in Dr. Karen Mapp's dual capacity building framework for partnership, and the framework that you see on the screen outlines the conditions that are necessary for effective family engagement. This framework highlights challenges for educators, and sometimes it's not having received training or effective family engagement. They may also have developed deficit mindsets, and for families, some may not have been exposed to strong family engagement examples. And due to these challenges, some of the essential conditions, as you also see on the screen, for homeschool partnership should be relational and built on mutual trust, integrated and embedded in all family engagement strategies. When we do this work, we enhance the capacity of educators and families in the 4 C areas, which are the capabilities, connection, cognition, and confidence. And by doing so, it empowers our educators to engage families as co-creators, leading to effective partnerships that support student and school improvement. This slide highlights our family engagement priority areas: family engagement linked to learning, capacity building for families and stakeholders, and decision-making and advocacy. We group our work. We want to emphasize, the importance of strong family academic partnerships linked to learning by providing learning opportunities for families and stakeholders that promote opportunities for decision-making and advocacy at the school and the district level. This slide highlights our tiering system, and we know that all schools have different needs and strengths. And so we took the time to tier our schools using different metrics, questions from the family engagement survey data to get a sense of how our families are experiencing their school. Second, we use compliance data related to budget engagement, and Title I parent and family engagement metrics. This helped us identify what support schools needed for effective family engagement. Our Tier 1 schools are schools with demonstrated effectiveness in family engagement and require the least amount of support. At a minimum, our Tier 1 schools receive 3 coaching visits annually. Our Tier 2 schools receive 5 annual coaching visits, and our Tier 3 schools receive 7 coaching visits. And of course, all of our tiers receive learning support because again, we want to ensure that our learning events and the things that happen in schools are meaningful, impactful, and that are linked to learning. Highlighted here in our slide linked to learning for our multilingual family outcomes for school year 24-25. We have done several things. We have hosted multilingual listening sessions to receive feedback from our multilingual families, to hear about their experiences at their student schools. We offered professional learning for early educators and international teachers on best practices on how to engage our multilingual families. Also, each of our schools received a multilingual box, which included resources on how to communicate with multi-families. And some of the other things that these boxes included were the Pocket Talks, over the phone interpretation services, information and resources for our family. And last, our Spanish-speaking families participated in co-creating family university workshops on communication, mental health, and decision-making. We also held many family learning events, both in school and at the district level in 24 and 25. We had 4 district-wide events, our special education resource fair, which we collaborated with and hosted at the William S. Baer School. Thank you, Principal Moore and her team. We also hosted Back to School Night last year, and next week we will host it again, and we're really excited about that. That will be on the 15th, so please come out, bring your skates. Also, we hosted Get Hyped, which is an acronym for helping our youth prepare for their education and dreams. And also we hosted a family math night. 132 family learning events also were held as a result of schools completing the Title I Parent and Family Engagement Application, also known as the PFE application. These events focused on literacy, math, STEAM, SEL, and college and career readiness. I also want to highlight our annual family survey. 84% of families surveyed responded favorably to the question, does your child does your child's school give you ways to support their academic success at home? Which is a 3 percentage point increase favorability from the previous years. And also we had 17 schools participate in the Chicago Parenting Program, which is also known as CHIP. This is a 12-week evidence-based initiative designed to support families of children ages 2 to 8 in parenting skills and social and emotional learning. Our key focus for the 25-26 school year is to strengthen our Title I parent and family engagement strategy through vetting vendors to ensure high quality programmatic offers. We are proud of our efforts this year because we vetted over 47 vendors and then we narrowed it down to 17. We were intentional with this because we want to ensure that we are providing and giving families and schools meaningful and impactful learning events that are linked to learning. And so we also want to thank Dr. Huffman's team, Data Monitoring and Compliance, for their guidance and support in this work. We're also coaching principals on their family survey data with a focus on examining trends across demographics, languages, and special education status. And last, our resource tools and training created for parent-teacher conferences. Another priority area for us is the capacity building for families and stakeholders. We have provided systematic PD to teachers on building academic and family partnerships. We have trained over 1,200 schools and district staff on family engagement best practices. We've heard a lot about Family University. We are super proud and excited about the work that we've done with Family University. We have a catalog of both online and in-person trainings around leadership and advocacy, mental health, and communication, to name a few. We attend monthly CLN meetings to share family engagement best practices with school leaders. And the School Family Engagement Fellowship, also known as FACE Fellowship, offers schools the opportunity on how to strengthen family engagement at their school and to learn best practices. The Learning Together guides are co-created family guides in literacy and in math. Our key focus area for capacity building for 25-26 is professional learning for school and district-based staff. We are scheduled to deliver over 30 professional learning sessions this year, serving over 2,500 attendees across all sessions, including credit-bearing courses for educators. This request for our professional learning sessions has grown exponentially, so much so that we now have to have a request form to streamline the process. Family University will be hosting 30 family-led workshops in 5 locations across the city, including a series running entirely in Spanish. And last, family-led video creation to support ELA, math, and learning together family guides. This slide highlights our decision-making and advocacy outcomes for 24-25. We've gathered over 9,000 input responses from stakeholders on priorities during the first phase of budget engagement. The 9,000 represents an increase in responses on the school-based priority engagement responses. This number does not include our POSIT polls. This number also represents the significant investment that we have made in building the capacity of our school staff and our FE specialists to support the work of budget engagement, and is a positive infrastructure highlight. We also hosted 4 trainings for student family community council chairs, including a cross collaboration with Dr. Duran's team in the equity office. And there was also an increase, as you can see, in favorability across all domains of the family survey data. And last, our key focus areas for capacity building for the 25-26 school year is the creation of the Student Family Community Council Advisory Board. We are going to continue to strengthen our partnerships with PCAB to host district priority engagement sessions for families and community partners. And last, continue to utilize Family University and other family organizing structures to encourage family participation in the spring survey. So at this point, I would like to pass it over to Monique Sims, our Director of Community Engagement.
And thank you, Vanessa. So for our community engagement work, you see on the screen here, our framework for Community Schools Forward, which helps to position our schools as hubs for families, students, and educators, and all to create these welcoming environments for our students, leveraging the partnerships and the strengths of our communities to support student learning. Next slide, please. And these are our 3 big areas of work. For our community schools, they provide that set of partnerships between the school and the community-based resources designed to support student success. We also align partner resources to support district and school priorities. And as you see here, the work of our school and school community partnerships is youth engagement, as well as our work that falls under there is the Student Government Associations, the Student Cabinet for the CEO, and youth ambassadors. Overall, we're working to connect our neighborhoods and other resources to schools through our partnerships and volunteers and general community outreach and engagement. So as we think about our community schools, here we are ensuring that all students in city schools are learning and succeeding over the course of their lives through an integrated focus on academics and health, social services, and child development resources. And this strategy creates the conditions, or supports the conditions rather, that create positive school climates and cultures and facilitates learning, growth, and strong, vibrant family communities. And so the work here is guided by our policy ADH for community schools and the work within the blueprint from Maryland's Futures at the state level. So on the next slide here, we're going to talk a little bit more about what you would expect to see this school year. Our community school coordinators are certainly working toward our implementation plan goals, engaging stakeholders in their needs assessment. So families will begin to experience the needs assessment process this year. And at the central office, our teams are also ensuring that there was quality improvements in our community schools. And so there's work there to identify what those quality measurements are. In addition to preparing to release a request for proposals, as we're looking to bring in more lead agencies into the strategy, while also partnering with our colleagues in Maryland State Education Board to be able to create the dashboard for community schools that allows us to share information about how our schools are doing in the strategy. Next slide, please. As we look into youth engagement, this is really exciting. You met a young person from our Student Government Association at Poly and our student commissioner, so really excited about that work. But in our schools, last year we had 148 SGA advisors who were coaching and supporting our students, over 97 SGAs in schools. We also had 10 students that were supporting our CEO student cabinet and raising issues and doing some participatory action research around transportation and school clubs. When we think about youth ambassadors, ambassadors. These are our students who may not always subscribe to the notion of student government as where they want to plug in, but they can plug into community organizations. And so our youth ambassador clubs in community connect to issues around mental health and other ideas related to STEM processes. And so our youth ambassadors had about 50 young people in that involvement across 25 schools. And then overall, we do connect to the state level with our Maryland Association of Student Councils. And this year, we took more than 100 students to that conference to represent our city and at the state level. So really excited about that work. Ongoing for this year, we certainly want to make sure that we are strengthening our SGA and ASCBC infrastructure to ensure that our advisors have the coaching and support that they need so that we can further support the leadership development of our students. Also sustaining that pipeline for student leadership through the Maryland State Conference and hosting our General Assemblies. And our next one for October is actually coming up October 27th. So we'll be bringing our SGAs from across the city at the end of this month. Exciting to bring that forward to support our student leadership pipeline. And also, when we think about expanding our youth ambassadors, wanting to make sure that we're bringing in more organizations to connect to more students in schools, to overall amplify student voice and decision-making, advocacy, and in all things for students in schools. So moving on to our partnerships and volunteers team, you heard the great testimony from our organization, Business Volunteers Maryland. So just want to highlight here the work for our volunteers. Nearly 7,000 community members across our city are registered in the PI portal, which is the Partners in Education portal, that are supporting students in schools in numerous ways, whether it's from the Kaboom building playground leads and builds to tutoring and after school enrichment. We are really excited about the work that our volunteers are doing. And also when we think about our donors, we heard a lot about the gifts and donations that are offered through the work that we do. And we also support things like our uniforms and books and school supplies. So the work here at our Partnerships and Volunteers team is really supporting some of the ancillary things that our schools are asking for and creating those meaningful pathways for our partners and community to connect to schools. Next slide, please. So for this year, you will see a lot more of a focus around the policy implementation. So the policy KCB for volunteers, but also KCD for donors. And we really want to make sure that our schools are following particular protocols to support student safety in these initiatives. Particularly, you might see the visitor pilot that we're going to be doing to support the screening at schools through these visitor kiosks to ensure that as young people, as community partners are coming in and our volunteers are coming in, they're being screened appropriately and being tracked based on the classification level that is offered for them, so that we can also celebrate the folks who are doing the direct service to students through like tutoring and chaperoning to those who are doing more indirect service. And overall, we want to support more of the partner mapping that we're doing across the schools and district office to ensure that all of our partners are getting the capacity built that they need to better align with school and district priorities. Overall, the work of the Community Outreach and Education Department is where we see the work of our CEO Community Conversations and where we partner with local organizations like the Baltimore Urban League and other community-based organizations to create that trust building activity where our CEO gets a chance to field questions and just build relationship with our local community leaders. In particular, when we think about the number of events that we do, not only over the summer, but during the school year, things like the National Night Out, the Mayor's Back to School event, we also have a request form where community organizations, particularly our faith organizations, reach out and ask for us to table at events and just offer resources and being a presence in the community. And so last year we did about 40 of these community events that also supported opportunities for book donations and other resources to be collected to support schools. As we go forward, we certainly see us doing more in this area to be able to continue to bridge connection and be visible in our community and extend our reach. Lastly, here, I just share a little bit more about what we're going to look to see and do, but you'll see us out in community. And certainly if you want us to be connected to particular opportunities, we look forward to hearing from you. Next slide. Yep.
And last but not least, our CEO Ombudsman. So many times our community engagement team and our family engagement team do fantastic, robust connections with families, but sometimes families still need help with solving a problem. So we have Karen Lawrence, who serves as our CEO Ombudsman, who focuses on accountability and transparency with families and engaging with the community and supporting schools and resolving parent concerns. And then also she has created the Culture of Care Committee, which is a committee at district office that works to make sure that we at central office are looking out for each other, taking care of each other, and celebrating the great work that we are doing. And with that, we're going to close our presentation, and we're happy to open up for questions.
Great. I will turn it over to my board colleagues for any questions they may have. I will start with Commissioner Simmons.
Good evening. I actually have a couple of questions, but I'm gonna do two. One is with us being in the work of community schools for as long as we have been, me being a former community school coordinator, and just knowing where we stand in the state, I'm just wondering, are there opportunities for the office, for community school coordinators, to help and support some of the other districts throughout the state, in this process? As
Yeah.
they, you, and I see Holly's about to answer, you're not, I saw you get ready to press the button.
Holly can answer. Go ahead, Holly.
Just really interested in that, right? We've been leading this work for a really long time, and I think that it really would highlight the work of Baltimore and the coordinators and the office, to be able to be supportive to some of the districts in the state who are newer to the initiative or to the strategy.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Simmons. That is a great question. And so we often get requests from MSDE, who are really our partners in this work, and as well as other LEAs, for our community school coordinators to share their experience. Sometimes it's done through a partner at some of our quarterly convenings. Most recently at the MSDE boot camp, which happened a few weeks ago, I was able to email all the supervisors, so not just district, but like across all the lead agencies, all 30 of them, to get nominees for strong veteran coordinators. And we shared those profiles with the state so they could kind of give an example and illustration of what community school work could look like in a few years. So that's an example of that. We also have folks who serve as mentors through MD4CS and some of the other kind of like statewide mentoring networks. I would also say that many of our community school coordinators, as I'm sure you know, and I think you may have done, are presenting at things like the National Conference for Community Schools. Yep, they're definitely representing there. They're also working kind of like, we do have some meetups across the state where community school coordinators come together, as well as nationally, and they do participate in those. That's two.
Can I ask anybody else? I got one more. All right, so I'm switching. This is just in that parent engagement space and thinking about the survey. Is there an opportunity within the survey for families? Was there a question really around how families feel? And this is something I think about when I was still in schools too, right? How do families feel as being a part of the budgeting process on the school level? Sometimes we invite them in, but then we do all this talking up here, right? And so we can say that we had parents in the room, but did we really have parents in the room, right? We had bodies, but were they really a part of that conversation? And so I just would hope that the survey, if not now, sooner or later, it will, bless you, it will help to have that question if it's not already there.
And I'm happy to jump in quickly. So we do have a question about decision-making and advocacy and parents feeling that they have a way in which to engage, which is part of the budget process, is part of the decision-making and advocacy. We also have annually asked a POSIT poll of families around budget priorities, and that's where we get 10,000 responses from families about the budget. But you're absolutely right. We have not specifically asked a question about budgeting on the family survey. So it's a consideration for us to add that question more specifically for next go round.
I think that if we do ask that question, right, then that also allows us to think about the education that we have to do with families prior to, right? So that it's not we are kind of surprising them with, and that they can really feel like they are a part of the process.
Thank you. Can you hear me? I just wanted to add, so we don't have it part of the Panorama survey, but we do for all folks that go through the budget engagement process. There is a question at the end of that, at the end of each session. So at the end of the priority engagement session, we're asking families about their experience with that part. With the end of, like, so each phase, we are getting feedback from families about their experience with that phase of the budget engagement process.
Commissioner Mohammed?
So this is really important work. This is where we tie our families to the experiences that our kids are having. And we know that parents who are engaged in their children's schools, their children are more engaged, they show up to school. So I think this is really important work, but as we're forecasting potential fiscal constraints coming, that this is also a body of work that we have to ensure that we protect. Because this is one of those areas that we can say, if there's going to be cuts, they tend to come this way. What are we doing now to measure the impact of the great work that you're doing so that we know that these touch points are happening, but can we speak towards the impact of these touches, 40 community touches and all the other data that you went through? Do we have an apparatus right now to measure the impact of the work that we're doing here?
Yep. So our key performance indicator for our work is that our families will improve their responses on our family survey. We actually disaggregate that survey data by school. We can see the improvements over time and the investments we're making. So for example, if we had a little more time, you would have seen slides, and they're actually in the appendix, so please go look at them, where you can see the schools that have participated in Family University have drastically increased the percentage of positive responses on the family survey, as evident by the school family compact they've had support with, the engagements they've had at the Family University and trainings with their teachers. You can see the change over time of families saying they feel more connected, more engaged to their schools. This school year, with all of our partners that are providing support with our PFE, or as Vanessa mentioned, parent and family engagement activities at their schools, we're going to have real-time feedback from families participating in those events to let us know whether or not they find those events supportive and will further their growth in their schools, also tying that back to our family survey. So we use those metrics along with others, meeting with ILEDs and principals and understanding what the needs are, which is how we've tiered our schools in the first place, to really understand which schools are doing well in family engagement, and we give them the tools and let them go. The tier 2 get more touches, more visits, more supports. The tier 3, we're very concerned about the family engagement that's happening there, and we go deeper and stronger in supporting those schools of family engagement. On our community schools, we actually measure the partner work and do we have enough resources in place at the schools as a way to measure success with community schools as well. We've also developed a community schools dashboard that Holly is going to be mad that I'm even talking about right now, because we're trying to nuance it and she doesn't want to talk about it until it's perfect. But the idea is, what measures, we've been measuring a lot of outputs, right? Of what we've had, numbers of volunteers, numbers of partners. Those are great to measure, but we need to measure what the outcomes and the improvements are. And so Holly's putting together a dashboard aligned, by the way, with MSDE and Maryland State Legislature, who put in place some requirements around measuring success of community schools. We were a little bit ahead of the state. So Holly is actually working directly with Derek at the state on aligning how we measure the outcome measures for community schools and what it looks like to be a successful community school. So there's more to come on that. I'm hoping that we'll have our dashboard finalized by the end of the school year, but it will also be aligned to what MSDE is going to begin to track around the success of community schools. You want to add anything to that?
Oh, no, you addressed it with the wraparound services and supports that we're measuring and the access to things like extracurricular and activities and other things like that. So those type of things we do have some detail around. And certainly when we do our broader discussion around community schools, that larger report that we'll be doing for the Safety and Wholeness Committee, we will do a deeper dive there.
We'll bring that data with us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I appreciate it. One of the things that I would be really interested to see, and I'm sure you're already doing this, Holly, would be around attendance, for sure. I know that's going to be there, but reduction of suspensions. I'm interested in seeing that, because if we are engaging and we are improving parent participation, we have that engagement there, it tends to lead to our school leaders having better relationship with parents, our teachers having closer relationship with parents, therefore more communication and hopefully less suspensions. So thank you. I appreciate the work.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Mohammed. Commissioner Ames Messenger.
Sorry. I had a question, and first of all, shout out to the FACE Academy and getting to sit and watch through schools as they think about how do we make that bridge to talking about academics and be an academic support. And the reality is that we have new state testing coming, we have new state policies that will have very real implications for students and families. And I know that you guys have, beginning with the Mayor's Back to School event, have begun to kind of roll out some initiatives around how are we equipping and supporting parents with what they need to be able to support and have an accurate knowledge and understanding of how their student is academically performing. But I guess just speaking a little bit in this next year, as we are looking at a period of transition, how is the office preparing to gear up around the academic supports and partnerships that we are going to need from families and communities in order to be successful?
Yeah, I don't know that we need to, I'm not trying to be facetious. I don't think we need to gear up. We are doing that work. Everything that family engagement does is grounded in academics. So it used to be family engagement for the sake of family engagement. And when I came in the picture and we brought Karen Mapp and the dual capacity framework, we completely pivoted our work. I mean, I would love Vanessa to talk about the number of teachers that have been trained by our office and the survey results we've gotten from those teachers. And now the co-created trainings we're doing for families at Flew Family University and making sure that families are getting the training they've asked for around the academic supports. And then, of course, we're so proud of the launch of our family guides, which give detailed information for families pre-K through 5, what their children are learning in ELA and math. And now we're going to produce videos to go along with those learning areas so that our families can really support their children at home. But Vanessa, can you please speak about the training you're doing for teachers and families and the results we've gotten from those trainings?
Sure, absolutely. I'll say a few words and then I'll pass it to Shar because our team really has been embedded in this work. As I spoke about it before, we're really wanting to make sure that our events that are linked to learning are quality for our families, and that they are walking away with a skill that they can support their learner at home and not just attending for the sake of attending these events. So as Chief said, we don't have to get ready because we're staying ready. And we're going to continue to push that work, and we're going to support the schools. We're going to support the school leaders because, again, it certainly does take a village to do all of this work. And that's why I really wanted to let people know that it's just not family engagement, it's community engagement. It is schools leaning in, it's schools attending FACE Fellowship, it's schools being engaged in decision-making and advocacy, and for Family University, providing families with opportunities to help them navigate the academic part and the social emotional well-being of their child. So I'll let Shar speak to some more of that work that we do.
Yeah, one thing I just want to add is there were 5 members of our team tonight that were at ACE right before I came here, and we were leading a training for early career teachers on having data sharing conversations with families. So that's around how to have real, honest conversations with families because we have to do that. And then earlier today, we were talking to community school coordinators about family learning events and how to make family learning events really co-created with families and to make sure that families are leaving knowing how their student is performing and how to help at home. So the training is incredible, and we are touching all stakeholders. Family University is also getting, we'll have videos for families, questions to ask during parent-teacher conferences. So really making sure that all folks involved know their role because there is just a historical lack of clarity around roles, around like, what is my role as a family member? What is my role as an educator? So that's a lot of the work that is presently happening and will continue to happen.
So quick one, and this will be my last for sure. There are a lot of state funds coming in, particularly when we look at the Enough grant. And there are some engagement with our families that are occurring And I want to know, are we a part of that through our community school coordinators? What are we doing to ensure that our parents are actively participating in these initiatives, since the dollars are going to flow into our schools and into our communities in general? But are we using our community school coordinators to support in this role and ensuring that the voices of our parents and particularly our school needs are represented in these initiatives, because these dollars are focused on our schools?
So I just want to clarify, the enough dollars are not focused on our schools. They are focused on community improvements. And when they did the application process, they had to have a lead partner who would apply for the funds. Those funds went to the lead partner to disseminate in the community. There could be opportunity for things like after school programming or other special things that lead partner decides to align to the schools, but we don't receive any dollars directly. That being said, when those grants went in, principals signed a letter of support saying that they would be partnered with the larger community initiative to make sure that the schools were considered in engaging our families in the process, et cetera. So we aligned our coordinators in those enough sites, and they are charged with being a conduit, if you will, of connecting the community to the school to make sure that they understand the needs of the school, they understand what's going on in the school community. And there are different layers of the Enough grant programming. There are two, both Park Heights and Cherry Hill, that have a sizable amount of dollars that are going into the communities. And then the next ones go down much smaller, around the $300,000 range, and then planning grants of about $25,000. I happen to sit on the board of Cherry Hill Strong because they're a purpose-built community, and we are city schools is integrally involved in that process. So I have familiarity about what's going on in Cherry Hill directly only because of my role on the board. That being said, we also are meeting, Monique and I and Holly are meeting regularly with the Governor's Office of Children around what responsibilities they have to city schools, what do we have to them, and how do we align around the enough. And so shortly, but we're sending out a one-pager to schools and communities to understand, because I've pushed them. What do you want a community school coordinator to do? How does a principal show up to this? What are you seeking as part of partnership for this work? And so we've been able to develop a one-pager we'll be sending out to schools shortly, sort of indicating what's happening. And now we have another grant application coming around, and we're getting requests for letters of support. And what I've said to my team is, if someone is submitting a letter of support, I want to understand, what are they committing to doing? What does that mean that you're doing to align with the enough work? And how do city schools, please explicitly outline how city schools can be involved? But right now, that's the extent of how we're engaging with the Enough Act.
So I think that what you said brought some clarity, but I'll lean in a little more, because what you literally said is that our schools, that we do have a role, and that our partners are engaging our schools, particularly in after-school programs. And
might be, yeah.
We know that these things are happening. Those are part of the plans that were accepted. So when we have these things, and we're saying that we're having conversations with the state, I want to ensure that it's not just us that are having these conversations, but we're leveraging the relationships we have with our parents and our community to ensure that they are heard at the same level. We have community school coordinators, as we highlighted tonight, that have great relationships. And if we are leveraging those relationships to ensure that our parents are heard in this process early on, to ensure that their needs are being met, then that would be amazing. And if we're not, and we're in these rooms, and there is an opportunity, then we should be doing it.
Can I just add something to that? It's also happening in West Baltimore. So it's not just Cherry Hill and Park Heights. It's also happening in Sandtown, Winchester, and Druid Heights, Upton community. And I would also say that those organizations that are working with those schools and those communities have created parent advisory boards. And so they are working directly with parents and have included community school coordinators. So some of them have gone outside of the schools or outside of whatever organization to really get on the ground and get connected with community folks. And so they are having those conversations, and in some spaces are kind of bringing along the coordinators to help in some of that work, but have started that work on their own. So I just want us to all be clear that there are conversations happening. There's a new amount or a new rollout of dollars that are coming, and people have already submitted those applications and have already submitted those letters of support, but they're not new folks, right? These are people who have been a part of the first iteration of whatever said organization got dollars for, right?
And I just want to clarify.
There's two organizations that are working that kind of back up against each other. So you have a group that's working in Sandtown, Winchester, then you have a group that's working in Druid Heights, Upton, right? Two organizations that we all are very familiar with. Everybody in the room is probably very familiar with that is doing the work, and they have those schools, and those school leaders are a part of those conversations as well. So just wanted to make sure folks knew that part.
Thank you, Chair Simmons. Commissioner Simmons, I want to clarify what I meant. There are two large grants, that is Park Heights and Cherry Hill. Those are in the millions of dollars, right? There are the second level of grant, and I believe there's about 11 of them across the area, and those are about 300,000, and we are engaging in those spaces also. And the expectation, Commissioner Mohammed, just to make sure everybody's clear, is that our community school coordinators are going to be connected and bring the connections from the school community and those partners to those enough tables for conversation. But I want to make sure we're clear that they're not leading the work, because they are charged with money from the state to do a job in our schools. But it's about the connectivity, like you said, of bringing parents to the table, bringing our partners and resources to the table so that they're all working together in the community.
Yeah, well, right. This isn't our work to lead.
Yeah,
This is their work to lead.
But they should be supportive of it, right? And
That's
should
right.
be part of that conversation that parents and young people are a part of, but we don't want them to lead that. There's other stuff for them to lead.
Appreciate the conversation.
And thank you guys so much for those insights. It's really helpful. Are there any additional comments for our board colleagues this evening? I would like to thank our colleagues here with us in person, as well as our virtual colleagues for this really important presentation, the work that you're leading on behalf of the district. So thank you for coming and joining us.
Could I have the community, how about all of OTEE stand? Come on now.
Thank you, team, for being there in person. I love it. Thank you.
And I know that we have made our chief proud, but just want to say what a privilege it is to do this work and to work alongside of these folks, and just want to continue to thank them for all their hard work.
Thank you. Thank you all.
No offense to
Thank
the
you,
other
Chief
chiefs in the
Monique.
room, but I have the best team
Such
in
a
city
phenomenal
schools.
job. You've made so much progress in this area. And so I just want to thank you for all your work. And when your support team, I think is what you refer to them as, was Shar and Holly, I think you're in pretty good shape if that's your support team. So
Thank you guys all. I appreciate it. Turn it over to the vice chair to lead us through.
All right, thank you all. Yes. So thank you all. I will announce some of our upcoming meetings. So we have the Safety and Wholeness Committee meeting, which will be virtual on Thursday, October the 9th from 4 to 5:30. We have Teaching and Learning Committee, which will be Tuesday, October 14th, 3:30 to 5:30. That's a virtual meeting as well. The Executive Board meeting will be hosted here for the board on October 21st from 3:30 to 5:30. And then our public board meeting will be hybrid and in person in this boardroom, the first floor boardroom, on the 21st as well from 6 to 8. Then the Operations Committee will meet in a virtual meeting on Tuesday, October 28th from 10:30 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. And the Policy Committee will meet virtually on Tuesday, the 28th from 4 to 5:30. I will now, unless there's any other additional comments, entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved, Esposito.
Second. All right. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, seems like the ayes have it. Everyone have a safe drive home. Thank you for coming out this evening.